Tune in. The Black Hair Party presents The Real Talk Show, where we talk about friendship, love, and purpose. Right here is your host, JRX36, and this is an All Ages Alliance production. Tonight, he will be looking at Real Talk Show Day 10. Our main topic. Let's see, I guess. Let's see, since you're gonna do it solo, you don't really need the participants in chat. You can just see yourself.
Okay, let's minimize this a little bit. I can minimize this right here. Put that right. Oh, put that like that. I like it like that right there. So. I'm trying to get that. There we go. Yeah, it's probably the best right there. I can see myself. And his launch right here, or is it already launched?
No, that's Alexander's Zoom link, so we'll just close that.
Okay.
And then I guess when you go here and you want to go back, you just click the Zoom.
What it do? The Real Talk Show Day 10 in review.
The Zoom app.
Welcome to the Taboo Free Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything. I am your host, Crown Jules. Tune in. The Black Hair Party presents the Real Talk Show, where we talk about friendship, love, and purpose. I am your host. Tune in to the Taboo Free Talk Show. Hold up. Welcome to the Taboo Free Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything. I am your host, Crown Jules. Tune in. Black Hair Party presents the Real Talk Show, where we talk about anything. Tune in. Black Hair Party presents the Real Talk Show, where we talk about friendship, love, and purpose. Friendship has everything to do with aura, love is a more, and purpose is about saving time. I am JRX36. This is an All Ages Alliance production. Tongue twister. I'm gonna go ahead and practice a little bit more, get that coming out a little bit more smoothly. Tune in. Okay, welcome. Tune in. Black Hair Party presents the Real Talk Show, where we talk about friendship, love, and purpose. Friendship has everything to do with your aura. Love is a more, and purpose is about saving time. I am JRX36. This is an All Ages Alliance production.
Wow.
Tune in. Black Hair Party presents the Real Talk Show, where we talk about friendship, love, and purpose. Friendship has everything to do with aura, love is a more, and purpose is about saving time. I am JRX36. This is an All Age Science production.
In my own words, Day 10 of the Real Talk Show.
Tune in. The Black Hair Party presents the Real Talk Show, where we talk about friendship, love, and purpose. Friendship has everything to do with aura, love is a more, and purpose is about saving time. I am JRX36. This is an All Ages Alliance production. 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 Tune in. The Black Hair Party presents the Real Talk Show, where we talk about friendship, love, and purpose. Friendship has everything to do with aura, love is a more, and purpose is about saving time. I am JRX36. And this is an All Ages Alliance production.
You see your boy over there practicing. Nah, I mean. Whatever it is you do, it takes practice. It takes practice and or repetition. Takes repetition. So I'm just repeating it over and over and over so that I could be able to say it much smoother.
Welcome to the Taboo Free Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything. I am your host, Crown Jewels. Oh, what happened?
Oh, there she go.
There you are. I am your host, Crown Jewels.
There's my princess.
Tune in. The Black Hair Party presents the Real Talk Show, where we talk about friendship, love, and purpose. Friendship has everything to do with aura, love is more, and purpose is about saving time. I am JRX36. This is an All Ages Alliance production.
37.
All right. Let's get to it. So, on today's show, we just gonna freestyle. We're gonna touch on a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You know, I've been preparing to have segments, so that's going to begin to unfold. We're gonna practice it, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, a little bit here, a little bit there. So we got a segment called Living Persons Audio Bank. We're gonna skip on that for today. We got a segment called POF Explore. We're gonna skip on that today. We got a segment called Mental Health Questions. We got a segment called Mental Health. We're gonna skip on that. We got a segment called Question of the Day. We're gonna skip on that. We about to skip on everything. Now, what I do want to talk about is identity. All right, I want to talk about identity. What's an identity?
JRX 30.
What's an identity? So, you know, we'll look it up, see what the magical internet defines as identity. And we just gonna go from there.
Where's Toshi?
Identity, the fact of being who or what a person or thing is, a close similarity or affinity. What is a person's identity? Identity is the qualities, beliefs, personality, looks, and/or expressions that make a person or group. A psychological identity relates to self-image, one's mental model of oneself, self-esteem, and individuality. What is the deeper meaning of identity? The definition of identity is who you are, the way you think about yourself, the way you are viewed by the world, and the characteristics that define you. An example of identity is a person's name. Example of identity are the traditional characteristics of an American. What are the types of identity? Multiple types of identity come together within one person. These can be broken down in the following: cultural identity, professional identity, ethnic and national identity, religious identity, gender identity, and disability identity. And that's according to Wikipedia. Let's pick up on that right there. Let me go ahead and get some papers so I could go ahead and take some notes as we unpack, reimagine, and recreate the definition of identity. Where you at, D Steezy? D Steezy and Camille Terry. I do my own echoes, echo. I do my own echo. Okay, here we go. We got this paper right here. Okay, that's gonna just keep dinging. I see. Let me just go ahead and close that out. I don't really feel like hearing that. Ding ding.
Ding.
I don't even have that.
Pop in the box. Pop in the box. Pop in the box. I'm in the box. Pop in the box. What it do, JRX 36?
Out of this, so we don't have to hear it. Ding ding ding.
So
Welcome to the Taboo Free Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything. I am your host, Crown Jewels. My co-host, Alexandra Blockton. Our featured guest, D Steezy, and our number one panelist, Camille Terry. All right, so we're talking about identity. Let's go ahead and break down identity.
Break it down. Break it down. Break it down.
So what's my identity?
JR,
I'll go ahead and just talk about my identity, my cultural identity,
nuts.
professional identity. So you got a cultural identity.
Cultural identity. Cultural identity. What culture do you identify with? That's a challenging question for me to ask. If I have to identify a culture I identify with, I will choose to identify myself by.
Cultural
See what he
identity.
said.
You got a professional identity, an ethnic identity,
Guess what?
national
Ethnic.
identity, religious identity, a gender identity, disability identity, And really, what are these? These are just all social constructs. So then, if all these identities are socially constructed, then who are you really?
But a social
Who
construct.
are you really?
Who am I really? Who am I really? Really, really? Really, 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 really? Who am I? Really, really?
One's identity consists of three basic elements: personal identity, familial identity, and social identity.
Bada.
Each of these elements is determined by individual circumstances. What's your stance around this circle? That's your circumstance. Where are you standing at on the circumference, on the circle?
What's your angle? What's your angle?
Developing an identity or sense of self and those traits a person desires to have can take time and may be challenging. Not having a strong sense of self or struggling with identity issues may lead to anxiety and insecurity. So that's
I believe it. I believe it. You know, I went through an identity crisis back in the day when I first moved to Tennessee from up north. It was a culture shock. Couldn't quite understand what people were saying, like literally couldn't understand. It was definitely an adjustment that I had to make. And I had to re-evaluate who I thought I was, what I thought I was, etc.
where we're going at right there. That's at the core of what this is about. What is your identity? And ultimately, what happens when you don't have a strong connection to self or when you don't have knowledge of self? Knowledge of self. What happens when you don't have knowledge of self? When you don't have a personal identity, a familial identity, or social identity, or when one of these identities gets taken from you.
You is ignorant, ignoramus, ignorante. Identity. So what's your identity? What's your story?
Go ahead and
Storyline and identity
have
runs
fun with
together.
this. Let's see, here's Facebook.
Dark mode. Okay. Jacob, are you? 20 inches.
So I'm gonna go ahead and choose a picture, or set of pictures that begin to hint at the idea of this identity. Oh, I like this one. So we'll take this, we'll save the image as, we'll save as identity 1. like putting everything on a desktop. I'm just old school like that. I like putting anything I save on the desktop. You know, that's like really, who are you?
Who
Who
are
are
you?
you really?
Who am I really?
Are you a man? Are you a woman? I guess that would be considered gender identity. And you know, some people real
More
fluid
than
with
the
that, so
color
they
of my
don't
skin.
particularly identify
I'm
with
more than my
one
sexual.
gender or the other like that. Is that
I'm
right or
more than
wrong? You
my
know, that's
weight.
not for me to decide.
My
I'm
class.
just stating some
My
facts.
economic
Call that
class.
identity number two.
And more.
You know, are you your
I'm
religion?
more.
Some people identify as their religion.
Who am I? I'm a more.
You know, some people identify with their nationality
Friendship has everything to do with aura.
or
Love is a more. And purpose is about saving
with their. Some
time.
people identify with their profession. I think this one's actually quite fitting. You know, it's like, who are you? Who you is? And then let's go ahead and open the desktop. And then we're gonna go with one. Open. Add a second one. Okay. And then third one. Who am I?
Really, really, really. Who am I? Really, really. Who am I?
You know, so as we explore identity, you know, it's like Jaden, you make it so that this doesn't do the notification, like log it out.
You got tiny.
Thank you. Tune in. Black Hair Party presents the Real Talk Show, where we talk about friendship, love, and purpose. Friendship has everything to do with aura. Love is a more, and purpose is about saving time. I am JRX36. This is an All Ages Alliance production. Who am I? What is your identity?
What's
Who
your
am I? What
storyline?
is your identity?
What's your
Well, let's
storyline?
talk about that, and then we can
The
drop
moment
this
you
on
wake up,
purpose. Under
the moment
purpose.
you
So
go
for
to
purpose,
sleep.
what's my purpose? Who am I? What's mine? Who is mine? What is my purpose? My age is 38. My race is black. My ethnicity is what they call Latino X or Latin X. My gender identity or expression is male. My gender is male. My national origin is, I guess, the United States of America is where I was born. My family's from the Caribbean. Sexual orientation would be heterosexual. Mental, physical ability. I guess I'm mentally and physically able, whatever that means. My work experience, I work right now. My education, formal, I guess, is um, got a master's degree and I did a year and a half of a doctorate and then I quit. I'm a quitter.
Quitter.
Political belief.
Quitter.
Okay, let's go all the way libertarian. I am in support of the non-aggression principle, and I am for small government unless we have a responsible large government, and then I'll be all for it. Now, can you show me a large responsible government? Good luck. My family, I am the youngest of the youngest of the youngest of the youngest. I'm the last born. Organizational role. I organize language and communication. I speak Espanol, a little bit of English, and a little bit of Ebonics. Income, I'm broke or rich mentally, and soon to be the wealthiest man alive. Religion, I am Jesus Christ is my hero.
Hero.
Appearance,
Hero.
bearded, hairy man. Anyway, that's who I am. Now, what does all that mean? Nothing. It means nothing. Who do I think I am? I think I am identityless. I am defined by none of this, or my identity is that I am defined by no identity. You know, and when I say I have my knowledge itself is that I'm here to serve, and when I'm here to serve, that means to hold space for who, hold space for those that need me to hold space for them. You know, whomever is in my sphere of influence, and I hold space for them. And ultimately, my goal is to serve, and that's my purpose. You know,
That's
to
nice
serve, especially
service.
those that are low. And by low, I mean suffering. And by suffering, I mean those especially that suffer in silence, or those that feel that they just are disconnected from everybody else. So I want to be able to connect with them under the umbrella of identityless. Because I'm identityless. So I'm here to serve. I'm here to be here for those that don't know or want to be here.
That's right.
How did I arrive at an identity?
How could I be most effective at becoming who I wish to become? And what's going through my thoughts are the idea that we live in a financial world that those who have the most money have the most ability to influence. It affects the size of their platform. The more money you have, the bigger the platform you can create for yourself. So at one point, I decided that it is important that I do become wealthy so that I could be able to use resources to create a platform that would allow me to have the maximum impact I'd like to have.
This identity.
Talk about.
Well, it's been a long journey to becoming identity.
I chose a character.
In becoming identityless, I thought I was everything. I had a savior complex. I thought it was my responsibility or it was my purpose or role to save the world. And then I realized I had to save myself. And then I realized I couldn't even save myself. So then I found a hero that I was able to follow. And I eventually found myself saved. What does it mean to be saved? It means that I'm at ease and I am happy to be ordinary. What does it mean to be happy to be ordinary? It means to be happy just as is. I am happy being as is. I don't expect anything of myself, and I do my best to not expect of others. Now, I do have expectations of some people, I guess, but I live my life to remove those expectations. And I say I got expectations of some people, but I can't even tell you what it is. As a homeschool teacher of my children, I expect them to, you know, daily work towards their craft or work towards something that they value or have set a goal to achieve. So for Jaden works on the platform. For Janine, she's an artist. And Juju, he could just chill. When he's ready, he will know what he wants to work on, and I'll be more than happy to encourage him and push him towards that end. Now, as they develop their identity and they grow up, I'm here to support them in that. Now, do I push a personal identity on them? I guess to the extent that I expose them to a personal identity is that they are artists. I think that we're all artists, and by artists is that we have the ability to be creative and to create. And I think that being creative is one of the highest forms of expression, especially when you're uncensored, when you're free to express yourself and to be you. So other than that, they are free to choose how they want to identify culturally. We don't necessarily practice any traditional cultural norms. We do have our own eating habits that can begin to shape our culture. So we are plant-based, and by being plant-based, it means we don't consume dairy, we don't consume egg, we don't consume meats, we don't consume fish. We consume plants, and ideally things that grow, not necessarily living, breathing things that grow, or anything that has eyes, I guess is probably the way I've heard it said before. Professional identity, that's not something I connect to. Ethnic identity, I think that we have the possibility of creating a new ethnicity. And if I was to identify with an ethnic group, which I halfway identify just for the sake of being relatable, so I identify as Latinx just to be relatable. However, I believe that I want to be part of a new identity, of a new form, a new type of person, a person that seeks to be their best version of self and is happy being as is, a person that has realized who they are. And who they are is identityless. I'm identityless, and I'm here to find other identityless individuals so that we can together be identityless and be identified as the identityless ones, which I'm choosing to call the eonics, the eons. those that represent the largest measure of time,
These
things that have
characters,
come and gone and have never been.
and then we become characters, and in becoming characters, we get to choose the script that we're going to live out. And it's important for me to share that the script that I want to live out is the highest form of script that there could be. I want to be able to do the most. Why not? I'm here. I got the time, so I want to do the most.
In terms of national identity, I am a proud American, American of the Americas. That's just a name that is a most modern name of the individuals that identify with being born on this geographical location. Nationality is a geopolitical
Political
status, and then in terms of religious, I can only point or speak of whom I learned from and whom I seek to emulate, and that would be Jesus Christ. So he's my religious leader. Would I call myself a Christian? If Christian means following the example and/or words of Jesus Christ, then I guess I call myself a Christian.
Christian.
Gender, I am a male and I identify as a male just because I was taught that if you have a penis, then you're a male. And outside of that, I do understand that gender roles are social constructs. But I do believe that there is a difference between someone that has a penis and someone that has a vagina. Just because one has a penis and one has a vagina. Now, how that gender expresses itself, I think that's socially constructed. Now, I think that some individuals may have some advantages and or privileges and or abilities that the other may not have. Like one,
Based on
males,
their geographic
individuals with penises
location
generally have more testosterone
of
that
influence.
will give them access to some ability that maybe someone who has less testosterone has. But other than that, I don't want to get into it because it's like, what does it mean? And then when it comes to ability or actually disability, I mean, we all have disabilities and abilities. So it's hard to define myself by my disabilities, or I'd rather not define myself by my disabilities or abilities. I'd rather define myself by time. And currently I am 38. And what that means is that I've been on this planet for 38 years. And that, I guess, means that, well, it depends who you ask, but it has to do with the sun and the earth relationship. Whether the sun orbits the earth or the earth orbits the sun, that relationship between the sun and the earth is used to dictate how long one's been on here. And I can identify with that form of characterization
I'm
because
38.
it's something that can be measured
Oh, that's
objectively.
say.
Outside of that, it's very challenging to measure much else objectively. You know, for some people, they have multiple sex parts, and they can be a combination of male and female, and that gets tricky as well. And race gets tricky as well. All these others get tricky, and by tricky, I mean hard to define. Just like identity is hard to define. So, however, to not be connected or not have knowledge of self can
Identity.
lead to a mental crisis.
Identification.
And a mental crisis can lead to dis-ease, a disconnection from oneself and others, a disconnection from oneself and society. Okay, I'm looking at an identity chart here. Oh, look, I've been sharing my screen this whole time. Let's look at this identity chart. We have female, British, half Ghanaian, Catholic daughter, sister, granddaughter, lives in Seven Sisters, sings in school choir, street dance club member, learning to speak French, history Greek, writes poetry, likes rap music, arts. Identity charts are a graphic tool that can help students consider the many factors that shape who we are as individuals and as communities. And I think this becomes an important exercise, especially for teenagers, individuals that are trying to find their place in society. Okay, summer, sun, friends, softball, lawyer, me.
Appear to be a good idea.
Interesting mind's map. Stephanie lives in Boston, tall, self-appreciating writer. I speak with an accent. Who am I? Gamer, musician, friend, a gardener, teacher. Identity, the qualities, characteristics, or beliefs that make a person who they are. Identity charts are awesome. Just about the only way we can think of to make them better is to animate them. Oh, this seems fun. So when it comes to identity, I think of that movie Divergent. And it was very interesting that they divided their society into 5 factions. You have abnegation, amity, erudite, candor, and dauntless. I think these were pretty good um, ways of dividing society in a way that allowed for people to choose which faction they associated with. And then the movie was interesting in that it, created a new category or a sixth category called divergent. And I think that these ways of dividing society can relate to the way we can divide society. Now, granted, I will divide it a little bit differently, but let's talk about the divergent factions and how identity plays a part in their uh, formation of these factions. So we have abnegation. The people from abnegation are selfless and try to help other people out and give leftover food and clothes to the factionless. They wear gray clothes and the women wear their hair mostly in a bun. Okay, so I forgot about the factionless, which are those identityless, or those that just don't fit in, which are governed or ruled by divergent. So divergent is the leader of the factionless, those that don't necessarily fit in to any of the specific categories that have been approved or organized or endorsed by society. And then abnegation are the helpers. Abnegations are the support system for the homeless, for the rejected. So abnegation, they govern, and govern isn't the best word, but they relate, they serve the factionless. So you have Divergent, who are the leader of the factionless. You have Abnegation, who serve the factionless. And then we have Dauntless. The faction is famous for their brave and fearless people. Dauntless members are supposed to protect society. Members usually wear black clothes, have tattoos, and women wear dark makeup. So the Dauntless are like the police, or the. So we have Abnegation serve, we have Dauntless protects. And I guess they protect from the bad guys, and you're gonna have bad guys within all the factions, and they are there to protect. And you have Abnegation, who serve the factionists, and it seems like Divergent should govern or relate, govern or relate to the Dauntless. It's like the Dauntless need a checks and balance, and their best checker is the Divergent. So Abnegation serves the factionless, and the leader of the factionless governs / relates to the Dauntless. Erudite members are the smart and intelligent people in the society. They created most of the technology and have to wear blue clothes every day. So the erudite are the educators. And it makes sense that the educators will probably, let's see, who do the educators educate? Well, it makes sense that the educators basically serve the other factions. They should serve the Divergent or the factions. They should serve the Abnegation. They should serve the Dauntless. They should serve amity, and they should serve candor. Let's see, candor. All the members are honest and trustworthy. They tend to say the first thing they can think about and have to wear white clothes. So candor are represent justice. Justice relates to judges. They ought to be the just, and they practice radical honesty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. unity. Members of this faction wear orange yellow. The people are peaceful and don't want to get involved in fights.
If someone that's looking for your identity, I mean, it's a good idea to uh, seek out the different categories that you could essentially label yourself under. I had fun playing, labeling myself with the based on the Divergent series, off the different factions, Abnegation, Dauntless. That was a fun movie to watch. But it was also good at bringing attention to the idea that people have these tendencies or have these default settings that can separate them and or make them a part of a specific group based on their traits and the task that they are predisposed to enjoying to do.
So the peaceful ought not ever interact with Candor or Dauntless. They would likely work or relate to Abnegation. They'll probably keep away from the factionless, or they should work with the factionless through Abnegation. And they should also be educated by Erudite. Take the time to break down these factions and talk about these factions, because these all relate to roles in our own society or ways of expressing ourselves in our own society. People can find an identity if they have no identity by figuring out how they fit into society. And society, some of us are here to serve, some of us are here to protect, some of us are here to educate, some of us are here to be an example by being peaceful, and some of us are here to be judges, to be able to mediate conflicts through practicing radical honesty. So the question becomes is, what is an education or an educator look like in this type of society? What is the role of the educator? And I would venture to say, like I mentioned earlier, the role of the educator is to empower individuals to choose to express themselves in the best way that they are able to express themselves. And in my belief, it's
Discover
we are all artists, and from everything, everyone can come off of the coattails of an artist. We all begin as artists, as creators, and then we can choose our particular craft and express ourselves in a way that allows us to feel as if we belong to a society. And people will choose that based on their skill set or their abilities or lack of their abilities, either their ability or disability. But in choosing an identity, one easy way to look at it is, are you an educator? Are you here to serve? Are you here to protect? Are you here to judge? Or are you here to just be, to exist? And regardless of what it is that you are here for, the goal would be for you to be exactly where you want to be, and know that you will experience the consequences of your decisions. And if you choose to violate the rights of others, if you choose to violate the non-aggression principle, then you will be judged accordingly, and you will be held accountable. And I believe it is my purpose to create the infrastructure, to create the language, to be able to formulate the framework that that allows for individuals that do violate the non-aggression principle to ultimately be held accountable. Now, the idea would be that if you have knowledge of self and you feel that you have an identity, then you should be at ease with who you are, and you shouldn't force your way or force your beliefs or force your thoughts on any other group. I forgot to rename my box. I am JRX36, and this has been an All Ages Alliance production. So as we continue with the show, I'm going to begin to break down my perspectives on how it is that I view the world and how do I believe I exist within it. And my intention would be to attract those individuals that could relate and could be of benefit, can receive a benefit from my way of describing the world that I see. Because ultimately, I think that we are all valuable as is. I think that we all have something that we can contribute
And then knowing that we have something valuable to contribute, then we can find a sense of being, a sense of belonging within the bigger society. And if we are able to practice or take actions that move us in the direction that is pro-social, then it allows us to partner and team with other individuals for the cause of improving the society. And in a society that has been divided by gender, race, age, class, and ethnicities, more than ever, we need to find a way of coming together and unifying under some new umbrella. And for now, the first umbrella that I'd like to create is that of the eons, of the Eonetians, of those that represent the largest measure of time, which, to connect to what we've been talking about, are the divergent ones, the factionless, those that aren't black enough, those that aren't white enough, those that aren't male enough, aren't female enough, aren't young enough, aren't old enough, aren't rich enough, aren't poor enough, and aren't any other thing enough.
Those that are
So we
not
could be enough for ourselves, and enough is
yeah,
enough.
we
Enough
are
is enough. Enough is enough is
enough.
often associated with a negative context.
Yeah.
It's often said when someone is under some stress or under with some negative emotion. But enough is enough. That's a positive. That's a positive form of expression. And enough is enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a minute to build on the idea that enough is enough. So I'm right now also gonna go ahead and share my screen. Let's go ahead and now let's share this one. Enough is enough. I'm going to go ahead and make a post on my Facebook page where I can hint at the idea that enough is enough. This has to do with identity theft, but I kind of like it. Identity less. Enough is enough. Is enough. When enough is enough. See, enough is enough has like a negative feel to it, but enough is enough doesn't have to be.
Enough is enough. Enough is enough. You got effort and you got value. What happens when you put too much effort? You don't get the value you want from it. Get a dip. You start to get a dip. Yeah, enough. Yeah, enough. Enough. Enough.
I like that. Boom. I don't even got to post it because you get to see it. Perfecto mundo. Who am I? Risk, complexity, solution, complexity, desire, predictability, sufficient, just barely, good enough. The skill, experience, easy change, access to stakeholder. Oh, so you did know that. What's that? What is that? Who is that? Who's that guy? Who is that guy?
Jacob, are you?
Who is that guy? Connecting with our history and Mayan ancestors. Chilling at the Mayan ruins. And look, we're gonna just perfect way to end this session. Let's go here. Look, so I guess it's over.
Well, and I'm back. JJ, everyday day. He might be sleeping. Well, I will tune us out, tune out, tune out, tune out. The Black Hair Party has presented the Real Talk Show. It has been a pleasure to do an episode of In My Own Words, day 10. And that's it. We'll call it a day. Deuces. Hasta luego. Thank you very much.